Hello everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode of WoTC Academy, we are going to be talking about the commander skill, Sixth Sense. This is a very important skill, almost basically required in the World War II mode. However, in the Cold War mode, it is more of a highly debated topic on its importance over other skills, given that true vision is a thing in that game, and you're technically, quote-unquote, always spotted, in terms of just visual identification. However, of course, Sixth Sense does provide more tactical and strategic benefits to you as a player than it leads you on to believe just based on the description that is kind of just given to you face value. And we're going to kind of discuss what Sixth Sense does at the face value level. However, we are going to dive deeper into the more tactical and strategic benefits that it provides with some visual demonstrations of the ones that I can visually explain. But, of course, then there are some that I just can't explain because it's just very hard to visually do so, or it really requires you to be very knowledgeable about the game and mechanics and so on and so forth in order to actually take advantage of. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. Like I said, at face value, Sixth Sense will alert you the moment that you are spotted by an enemy player. This doesn't mean that they have to be looking at you. This just means that you have come within visual detection range of their tank, and they have visually spotted you. And so now you're visible to not only on the map, but to all the enemy players. If you don't have Sixth Sense, you will not even be aware if you are spotted until it is almost too late. And then by that I mean you receive the targeted notification, which means that someone is looking directly at you and probably getting ready to shoot at you. And as I said, it may be already too late for you. You may be in a position to where you can't get to cover and break contact, and next thing you know, you're tracked and your hit points are just slowly or very quickly depleting, and then you're back in the garage, and you're like, you got to pick another tank and go back into battle. There is another benefit, however, though, with Sixth Sense. This one I can't really visually explain. You can use Sixth Sense in combination with vision range, camo range, both of those to get a better feel of where you are being spotted by an enemy tank, and then, of course, using map awareness and map knowledge and a understanding of the game mechanics, you can kind of figure out where they're at and, either play around that area or try and guesstimate where they're at and put some blind shots in, and you do you, really. But that method of using Sixth Sense does fall on having significant experience in the game and a solid core understanding of the game mechanics and map awareness and knowledge, and you just got to be a really good veteran player to kind of make that work for you, or just know the game mechanics very well. Now, if you can equip Sixth Sense as quickly as possible on a commander, it is also beneficial that you can use Sixth Sense to communicate with your team, especially if you're in a platoon, for example. Once you get lit up, you can communicate to your team that you've been spotted, and then your teammates can react accordingly of preparing for a contact or breaking contact or whatever it is that your platoon decides to do. You don't really need to worry about that much in True Vision because, again, you're always spotted in the Cold War mode, and it's always just assume that you've been spotted and someone is looking at you. However, we do have a couple more tactical and strategic benefits that I do plan on visually demonstrating with you, and we will actually go and dive into those topics here shortly. But before I dive into those, I'm just going to also visually demonstrate, how the detection works when you do and do not have Sixth Sense equipped to your commander. So without further ado, let us go and take a look now. Alrighty, so for this demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate how Sixth Sense works. I have it equipped on my commander, and as we can see as I roll in and out of cover, that I am getting lit up with the orange light bulb here, and that gives me time to stop and return to cover. And of course, we will see that Sixth Sense does pop up before I get the targeted notification that someone is looking at me. In a more realistic scenario, I would have kept going until I got behind the other house using that faster forward momentum that I have. But for the sake of this demonstration, I am just going to sit in here till I go unspotted, roll out, and then we can see how Sixth Sense works, and then I'll roll back into cover until I go undetected again. Now we'll just transition to what this looks like if you don't have Sixth Sense. And you'll kind of see a night and day difference to how that can affect you. Alrighty, so I have removed Sixth Sense off of my commander. And like I said, the difference is basically night and day. So I'm going to roll forward exactly like I did previously, and I am spotted. You'll see that by the targeted notification that I am spotted by my assistant, but there's no light bulb. I actually have no idea that I am spotted, and all I'm doing is just instructing my teammate, or my assistant really actually, to just look away from me. I am spotted this entire time, and I will not know that until they are actually looking at me directly. So I can be like driving around out here in the open, and I won't even know about it until they are looking at me. And so, as we can see, you could easily drive out here into the open without thinking like, oh, I'm not spotted, I'm safe, and all this other fun stuff. But you won't know that till someone's looking at you, and by the time someone actually does look at you, you may be in the open field with nowhere to run. So as we can see here, it's kind of important to have Sixth Sense, so that way you can use that as like an emergency system to oh, I better not go this direction because I'm lit up, or I better not make that play that I was going to do. It's just very beneficial to have Sixth Sense. But as I said, we're going to take a look at some other examples of how you can use Sixth Sense to your benefit. Alrighty, so for this next example, this one's kind of more on the experienced intermediate level of players here. And it's actually kind of a little bit hard to explain. There's not really much of an easy term, but it's kind of something you can use to figure out if a player that is hidden, that is spotting you, has rolled out from behind cover. And you can use this method with both Sixth Sense or just target. You could use both of them. You could use one or the other. It doesn't matter. This method works. But it does also require a good, decent amount of map knowledge and where people tend to hide and snipe from, so on and so forth. So we can see that I am in the 4005. I have my two assistants. They're spotting me. They're detecting me. I don't exactly know where they're at. They're hidden, but they're shooting at me. And I did kind of see the tracer, and I'm just kind of following it, trying to guess where they're at. I have a feeling that the person is hiding somewhere in the bushes based on the tracer. My gut is telling me they're going to be hiding on the corner of that building there, but I can't be too sure. And I'm in a tank where, I have a long reload if I miss the shot, and I could pay for that. So we can see that I'm taking damage here, and the targeted notification is going away, and so is the spotting, meaning that they're spotting me, they're shooting me, and then they're rolling behind cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of wait until I actually get that Sixth Sense and or targeted notification, and then I am going to shoot where I think they're at, and lo and behold, I have taken out one of my enemies because they are making a repeat pattern of popping out at the same location and spotting me, shooting me, and then rolling back into cover, and I was able to predict that and then, take a shot the third time that I was spotted by them. But let's take a look at another example. Alrighty, so for this next one, I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, but it's a very simple thing that you can use Sixth Sense for, and it's basically just using it like a radar to hunt down that pesky light tank. The only thing I can really tell you is that it does require a little bit of map awareness and kind of having an idea based on where your teammates are and the type of tank and what the player might be thinking to try and figure it out. But it's kind of really easy to figure out just by looking at a map where your teammates are and where they may be hiding. In this case, you're just using Sixth Sense to, when it alerts you, it lets you know that, hey, you are near that last enemy player, and you kind of go in the general direction that you think that they're hiding in, Typically, it tends to be corners until they're spotted or they know that someone's near them, and then they'll flee to try and get away, far away as possible. And so you simply just kind of try and predict where they're heading, and you use that sixth sense notification as kind of like a blip or a reconfirmation that you are heading in the right direction until, of course, you corner them, the timer ends, or they end up suiciding off a cliff or a building or something. And we can see by this example that I'm kind of actually succeeding in tracking them, even though my assistant I told to, do whatever he wanted to do, double back around, whatnot. But no, he's actually deciding to just try and gain as much distance as possible. There's nothing much more to say or explain about this. It's just using sixth sense as a radar to track down your enemies like a hunter. Let's move on to our last advantage or tactical strategic benefit that sixth sense does provide. Alrighty, so for this last demonstration here of a strategic tactical benefit that sixth sense does provide, this one is, you can use sixth sense when you are in a location with multiple angles in which someone can spot you. You can use it to roughly determine the location of the person spotting you by hiding around pieces of cover near you and seeing if that cover breaks the spot or not. Not many people will, naturally think to try and do that. They'll just hide behind cover, and, they'll only react at the moment that they actually get shot. So I'm just going to drive down this hill. I told my assistants to just hide somewhere and spot me. They spot me. I get spotted down here. So naturally, one would think that they're hiding to the left, but I'm still lit and they are still targeting me. So that means there's only one thing. They must be directly in front of me. So I'm going to roll around this rock and see if that breaks the spot. Sure enough, it breaks the targeted icon. They cannot aim at me and hit me. And the real test is, am I no longer spotted? And sure enough, I do break the spot. And I'm just going to roll forward again just for one more example. And as we can see here, sure enough, I'm like, yeah, they're definitely over there. So it's as simple as that. There's a slew of different things that sixth sense can do to provide you a tactical and strategic benefit in game. It very much is helpful in the World War II mode. And again, feel free to debate on its usefulness in Cold War mode, but that's going to do it for today's video. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it very helpful, hit that thumbs up and share it with other people that, don't use sixth sense. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of WoTC Academy.